Okay, so today is officially day one of like us actually training Mr. Goose, my 5-month-old silver lab. I'm going to show you kind of how I'm starting to introduce the hand feeding exercise to him. So today, really, the focus was three things that we focused on the walk, introducing him to how I want to walk him, the tool that I'm walking him with. We played. That was the second thing. So made sure that we spent some time playing, and then the third thing is the hand feeding. One thing that I notice about this guy, he's a chomper. He likes to just really bite, right? So this little exercise can help with a lot of like the nipping that you may experience. You try to go give your dog a treat and he chomps on your whole hand. This is really going to help because this is how I'm going to establish how I want him to take food from me. Want him to slow down. So again, this is a really, really good exercise. So kept the day really simple. Again, walk, play, and then hand feeding. This will kind of set everything up as I'm training him. So what I'm going to do in this exercise, I'm not really going to focus on commands. It's going to be more of his marker, his yes, he's doing good, and then his his correction, so he knows to kind of slow down and figure out how I want him to take it. Once I can start to get him to figure out how I want to take the treat, then I can start, introducing kind of my little lure technique to be able to then go into like my sit, my down, my heel, my center, all that stuff. So so I'm just gonna sit down right here. The real main focus of this exercise is to get him to look at me in order to get the food, right? I don't really care about anything else. Obviously, he has to respect my space. That's something he's working on. So what I will do is I'm gonna take a little bit of kibble in my hand. I'm going to stick it right there in front of his nose. I want him to know that I have it. And then what I'm going to wait for is that right there. And then I'm going to move it out a little bit. Once I get that eye contact, yes. And then you see how he chumps? So I pull away, and then my correction comes in. Start again. Eye contact, yes. Everything needs to be a little bit slower for him. So his owners actually use a slow feeder because he chomps, as you could tell. Yes. Yeah, So now I become the slow feeder. I want him to learn to slow down. I need you to learn how to take treats, food from me without biting my hand. Yes. So be patient with this, guys. This is the first time I'm doing this with him, so he is trying to figure kind of out what I want. So again, food right in front of his nose. I get him into that sit position. I want my eye contact. That's what's going to get him rewarded. Yes. And then everything's slower. He chomps. I just give that little correction. And then I go ahead and start to reward him. See how fast he moves for his food, right? So everything is about slowing this guy down a little bit. This will also actually help as he gets older with impulse control, learning how to control his instincts. Yes. And and just slowing it down. You're going to get what you want, but I just need you to slow it down a little bit. Yes, good boy. So even though I'm talking to the camera, normally I'm not saying a lot. It says yes, my correction, and then good boy. So I'm gonna kind of show you what that looks like without talking for a second. Yes. Ah, 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 ah. So when you heard me correct when he was eating, he was taking it really slow in the beginning, then he gets a little overexcited. He starts, I could feel him nipping on my finger, and that's when he's hearing the correction. Once he starts getting on my finger, that's when he's going to get corrected. As long as he's not getting my finger, he knows life's good, and he has to take it a little bit slower. And the way I'm delivering it is just little at a time. So I only give him access to a little bit at a time. Yes. Now, some people will mark or give a command for them to look at you. I'll let him pick that up. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like to kind of teach my dogs to naturally give me eye contact without me having to ask for it. I just kind of want it to be a normal behavior for them. Yes. So that way, when I go off leash with my dogs or we're out in public, they're just naturally looking at me for direction. and I don't have to ask for a look or a focus or anything like that. They just know to give it to me. So this is what I do. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Normally he would be done by his with his food already. So you could see how now I become the slow feeder too. And another way you could do it is you could just get a little bit at a time, have an open palm, have eye contact, yes, and then present it like this, right? You could, there's different ways that you can get comfortable with how to do this exercise with your dog. I want to teach him how to, because just the way I deliver treats when I'm teaching is important. And so I use the kibble for this exercise. Yes. Ah, 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 ah. Yes. Good boy. That was a really good one right there. He got a little excited. And you could see just through repetition, he starts to understand what yes means. He starts to understand what that correction means. And then I love working on my marker and my correction in the beginning because as I'm teaching my dog other things, other situations, my yes lets him know when he's offering behavior that's wanted in that situation. And then obviously my correction is telling him, stop what you're doing. I don't want that. Check in with me. Let me redirect you to actually what I want you to be doing. Right? Yes. Ah, ah. So see how he went really fast. I want him to let me bring it to him nice and slow. Yes, good boy. Now, another thing you guys can do too, let's say you're not comfortable getting your hand dirty. I really don't care. I've been doing this for so long. But let's say it's just you and your dog and you don't want to have all that slobber on your hand. One thing you could do is you could just do eye contact, yes, and then put down and then let him take it from the floor. Right? It spreads out a little bit, so it still slows him down from the eating. Um, so there's different ways that you can kind of figure out how to get comfortable with it. Right? Just want to show you guys a few of them right there. Wait for his focus. Yes. Ah, 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 ah. So when he nips, I just close my hand, cut him off from the food. We'll start again. Yes. Right. As puppies, it's really hard to have impulse control, and you want to start teaching it, right? I know he doesn't look like a puppy, but he's only 5 months old, so he's still developing and growing. So he's stuck. There it is. Yes. Ah, 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 ah. Slow it down. Go. Yes. Yes. So this is his first time doing this, guys. So the video is nice, raw, right? The good, the bad, the ugly. I'm not hiding anything here. I want him to. So when he gets stuck like that, I want the brain to start to think. I want him to start figuring out what I want. I want the brain to start being engaged. Yes. And so that's why I'm letting you guys see all of this because sometimes we see social media and they show you short clips of everything already done and they don't show you the work that it takes to kind of create the really good behavior. Yes. The reason you see me hold the food above the head, so the reason you see me hold the food above the head is because it will bring his head up and his butt down and put him in that sit position, right? Yes. And that's where I want him receiving the food right now. Just as far as, I mean, eventually he can stand and he'll be in different positions, but right now I just want him to slow down a little bit. So that's why I'm asking him to be in that sit position. Yes. Uh-uh. You can see right there, right? He scarfs his food down. This is a Why they were given using the slow feeder, and now I'm the slow feeder. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. So we're almost done, guys. So yeah. So if you got a puppy, typically you're feeding them about 3 times a day. So you can get this activity in 3 times a day, 2 times a day, just whatever you're feeding your dog. And again, I don't want to drag this out for super long. I want it to be a minimum of 5 minutes, maybe a maximum of 15. Just really depending on the dog and the temperament and the behavior that I'm working on, what I'm trying to do. So now that I'm kind of halfway through, a little bit more now, I'll actually show you what it looks like standing up now. Give them a little bit different perspective. Yes. Because this is more of where he's going to be taking treats from me. Good boy. He did really good on that one. Good job. So now, now that I've been doing that a little bit, now I can actually label this. Sit. Yes. So for me, with my commands, that eye focus that you see that I'm asking for, all my commands, I want my dogs, if I ask you to sit, I want you to sit, relax, look at me. If I ask you for a down, lay down, relax, look at me, check in with me, be engaged with me, right? So now I kind of get them up. Sit. Yes. And then I always reward in the position when I'm teaching. So right now it's a sit, so I want I want to reward in that position. Good. And then I'll start working on giving him a release word. Again, it's first day. Not going to overwhelm him. Keep it really simple. Sit. Oop, drop one. Sit. Yes. Yes. Sit. Yes. Good boy. That was a good one. He broke it. I'll put him back. Sit. Ah. Yes. And then we'll let him finish. Good boy. All right. Now we're coming to the last. We'll get him to pop up. Sit. Yes. And then we will reward. Good boy. Some pieces right here for him, and then the last one. Now I start working in a kind of an off command when we're done with the exercise. So at the very end, you're going to see me show him an empty bowl, and I'll say enough. Right. So I'm going to make him pop up. Command. Sit. Eye contact. Yes. And then reward. Good boy. Good boy. Now I'll drop a little bit right there, and then I'll give him some. Good boy. Let him know he did a good job. Good boy. Now I'm going to show empty hand, empty bowl. Once he gets his head up. Yes. Finished. Or actually, I'm going to say enough. Right? Just to let him know. That's it, guys.